What's up guys, this is Kyle from Vapor Hut, driven by you, fueled by vapor, and today I'm going to be doing a comparison video of the Reuleaux RX200 and the Reuleaux DNA200. So there was a lot of hype with the Reuleaux DNA200. A, it's using the DNA200 chip, which means you have that eScribe software, and B, it's a 18650 mod, so you have battery life for days. But then, about a week after that came out, the Reuleaux RX200 came out, and it's about $100 cheaper. Now, the Reuleaux RX200 is clearly not using the DNA200 chip, it's using the RX200 chip from Joyetech. But for $100 cheaper, you might be wondering, is it worth it to just get the cheaper model and get the Reuleaux RX200? So that's what this video is for. I'm going to go through the pros and cons of each of these devices, and by the end of this video, you should be able to decide which one is right for you. So let's start with the Reuleaux DNA200. If you've already seen my tutorial and review on this device, you know it's pretty complicated. But the eScribe software is pretty amazing. So with the DNA200 chip from Evolve, you get a whole range of customizability. From the screens to your temperature control, you can kind of dictate exactly how you want that vape to be. Now, one drawback to the eScribe software, other than it being extremely complicated, is that it's hard to fine-tune your settings to get the right kind of vape. Now, I have not personally messed with the titanium or the stainless steel temperature control with the DNA200 chip, because it involves uploading graphs from the manufacturers of those atomizers to your eScribe software, telling the chip just how that wire works. But my experiences with nickel on the DNA200 have been really good, all in all. It was a little odd in the beginning when I put my TFV4 on here and I was getting burnt hits, which was just kind of weird. But with the Aqua FX with a nickel coil, I had no issues at all. So you can think of the Reuleaux DNA200 like a souped up gaming computer. You can do a lot with that gaming computer, but a lot can also go wrong. So if you do want to get the DNA200, just know there will be some troubleshooting involved with fine-tuning all of your settings to what you're looking for. And the Reuleaux DNA200 is about 170 bucks. So now moving on to the Reuleaux RX200. Now the Reuleaux RX200 is only 70 bucks. So that $100 difference, you might be thinking, oh, it's probably made cheaper, it's made out of a plastic, it's not the same as the DNA200. And that's just not true. This is the exact same housing. All we're talking about here is two different chips. That's it. And different color schemes, obviously. Now, the RX200 chip does not have any of that eScribe software. You can't customize the screens, you can't look at a device monitor and see the graph output of how your vape experience is going, but you do have 4 presets. You can either do temperature control with nickel, temperature control with titanium, temperature control with stainless steel that we're going to see in a second in this video, and regular wattage mode. And just like the DNA200, the RX200 has a 200 watt limit. Now when it comes to that temperature control experience with nickel, because nickel is the only wire type that I've used on the DNA200 chip, I'd say on the RX200 it's a tad lighter. It doesn't hit quite as hard as the DNA200 does. Now one thing I was really excited about trying out with the Reuleaux RX200 is its Temp SS, its temperature control for stainless steel setting. So right now I have on here the Vengeance tank from the Council of Vapor. On the RX200 we have a 0.2 ohm stainless steel coil in here. I have it on Temp SS, locked in the ohms at 0.23, 50 watts and 350 degrees, which is crazy low. Any temperature control device I've used with nickel, I've had around 450 to 500. 350, crazy low, and look at this vapor production. That's phenomenal. Stainless steel temperature control is my new favorite. This is the kind of temperature control I'm looking for. Now, as a warning, we did let this tank go all the way down to bone dry. We had it at 80 watts at the time, which might just be a little bit too high, and it did burn a little bit. So to my mind, temperature control shouldn't burn. Even if that tank is completely dry, no matter what the wattage you have it set to, it should not burn. So I don't know if that's kind of a fault in the chip itself, or if it's just kind of inherent property of trying to use stainless steel for temperature control. But as long as you kind of watch the juice level of your tank and don't let it get bone dry, the temperature control seems to work. It seems to fluctuate the wattage to keep you at your desired temperature. Another thing about these two devices, the Reuleaux DNA200 chip, even if you're not using all that eScribe software, It's a little bit more complicated just to use on the device itself. Just to change the settings and lock the ohms and change the temperature, it's a bit more involved. Whereas on the RX200 chip, this is one of the simplest devices to use. 3 clicks of the button will change your mode. So if you're in temp NI, it'll take you to temp TI, to temp SS, to power. And if you're in temperature control, 4 clicks will go from temperature to wattage. So you can adjust your wattage, then hit the firing button and you're back into temperature. So with the RX200 chip, you can adjust your temperature on the fly, whereas with the DNA200 chip, you have to 5 clicks to lock it, then hold up, down, hold the change temp, change your temperature, and 5 more clicks to unlock the device. So at the end of the day, you're basically paying about $100 to have the eScribe software. If I had to choose between these two devices, I would absolutely choose the RX200. I mean, the eScribe software, it was fun. I used it for a couple of days and then it got old. I mean, once you set up your custom screens and set up a couple profiles, you're just gonna be vaping on it. You're not gonna bring your computer around and plug this in throughout the day and, oh, I wanna change my screen, or, ooh, I think I need to change my preheat power. You're not gonna do any of that. You're gonna play around with it for a little bit and then you're just gonna use the device. And that's the RX200. It's a simple, powerful device and it's cheap. $70 is not bad for a device of this kind of quality. And man, do I love using this vengeance on temperature control. Well, that's my comparison between the two Reuleaux. We got the DNA200 and the RX200. Well, this has been Kyle from Vapor Hut, driven by you, fueled by Vapor. Have a great day, guys. So with the DNA200 chip from Evolve, you get a lot of custability. Custability? What the? No. I don't even think customizability is a word, but I made that up videos ago, so I liked it. I mean, it makes sense. You know what I'm saying. Philosophers can make up words all the time. All the time.